Let's react to the breaking news in the National Football League today as we had a massive trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers trading Minkah Fitzpatrick and tight end Jonnu Smith to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Jalen Ramsey. Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. We are going to share our thoughts and catch you up on this trade and also how it directly impacts the Seattle Seahawks. We'll explain more coming up here on today's show. Before we do, it is the last day of the month of June, and for the entire month, we've been doing a like battle with our fellow NFC West rivals, the 49ers report, Chase Sr. and company. And, folks, we need your help. We're down to the final stretch, the 11th hour, and we are slightly behind, folks. So if you would like to beat the 49ers report, Chase Sr. and company, they were talking some smack on us, and I'm not going to live for it, folks. You need to back me up on this, please, by all means. Hit that like button. Let's win the like battle, and we'll get started with today's show. So let's begin with the trade details of what exactly happened today between the Steelers and Dolphins. First and foremost, the Steelers, they get Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 seventh-round pick, while the Dolphins get Minkah Fitzpatrick to return to Miami, as well as a 2027 fifth-round pick. And it also is worth noting, by the way, these were actually two separate trades, but for simplicity, we put it all together in one graphic for you to show you all the details of what exactly went down. Now, there are two ways that this impacts the Seattle Seahawks. Let's start with reason number one. Number one, by not trading for Jalen Ramsey, this signals to me that Mike Macdonald and the Seattle Seahawks are all in on Shaquille Griffin, who they signed last week when it comes to his role as an outside corner with this team. You would not be all in on Shaq Griffin if you were trading for Jalen Ramsey. They must feel pretty confident in the signing of bringing in Shaq Griffin a week ago, and also shows that they have confidence in this corner room to get the job done with Devin Witherspoon, with Reek Woolen, with Josh Jobe, that they feel like they're in a position of strength, that they're in a really good spot there as far as that goes. So that's number one. Number two, it also means that Trey Hendrickson is now the biggest name left without question on the trade market. He is the guy that every team in the NFL that is potentially interested in a trade for is going to have their focus on and could be the next one that John Schneider potentially swings for. And what that also tells me that because all attention, all eyes are now on Trey Hendrickson with Jalen Ramsey gone, that if the Seahawks are going to make a move for Trey Hendrickson, like many have discussed over the last few weeks, the clock is starting to tick now. That if they are going to do something, they probably should move pretty quickly if they want to bring Trey Hendrickson in. So those are the two direct things. We'll discuss more. We'll talk about Trey Hendrickson coming up in just a moment. Let's ask you first, our pinned comment today. Sound off. What's your one-word reaction to the Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick trade? I'll give you my one-word reaction coming up in just a moment, but what I hear from you guys first, weigh in and let us know. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today, as we're bringing you the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every single day on the channel with our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, live shows each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're doing our Madden Sim season. We're covering breaking news just like this, whether it's with your Seattle Seahawks or around the National Football League, and telling you how it directly impacts your Seattle Seahawks. We got you covered. We are closing in on 68,000 subscribers on the channel. I literally just checked today. We're like 5 away from that milestone, folks. Subscribe now. Lock us in. Never miss a moment. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. My one-word reaction is, wow, what a start to the week of Monday morning to have a big trade. 2 trades go down with 2 teams there in the AFC, and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins, and to shake things up in the National Football League. So then the next question becomes, so now what? Where do we potentially go from here, and what do the Seattle Seahawks do after this? Well, the trade market's clearly heating up right now. We are a month past the post-June 1 cuts at this point in time. We are less than a month away from training camp beginning in Seattle here. So, with that being said, I think that if you're the Seattle Seahawks and if you are seriously considering Trey Hendrickson here, what you ought to do is you ought to check in with the Cincinnati Bengals and say, all right, what's the situation with the contract negotiations with him? You guys are about to enter the month of July, and there's no deal done at this point. Does he really want to stay there now? Is he a potential trade piece? I think if you're Seattle, you need to be proactive here and go to Cincinnati and say, hey, this is our offer. We want him. We're willing to pay him. It doesn't look like things are working out for you. Let us take him off your hands and beat these other teams to the punch. You need to be quick on this if you are going to do it, because I think that there's going to be plenty of teams lining up for Trey Hendrickson's services if it's clear that Cincinnati is going to move on from him. And Trey Hendrickson, the resume is as good as it gets, folks. He is right in the thick of the prime years of his career, coming off back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons, a 4-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time second-team All-Pro as recently as 2023 and in 2024. And the production, man, it could take this Seattle defense to a whole nother level if they add Trey Hendrickson here. And I said this before, and I'll continue to reiterate. I know that when we talked about the options of a Jalen Ramsey trade or a Trey Hendrickson trade, what I told you was that I felt that the idea of potentially trading for Trey Hendrickson made more of an impact than Jalen Ramsey. And the numbers reflect that, because when you look at this Seattle defense, okay, your secondary looks pretty solid now. With the addition of Griffin, you add in Nick Eamon-Warry to the bunch. Now you got some potential. But you have some question marks with your edge rushers, as you don't know if Nwosu is going to stay healthy. What is DeMarcus Lawrence potentially going to be in this mix? Trey Hendrickson has been consistent. You have the money to pay him. You have the assets to get a trade done. To me, it is a no-brainer. And I think you can pull it off by giving up a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick, and he is yours. And then you pay him the money, and he thrives in Mike McDonald's defense. And all of a sudden, we could be talking about Seattle having one of, if not the very best defenses in football if they were to get this done. So, your chance to be the GM here on Seattle Seahawks Today. What do you think about this idea? Should the Seahawks trade for Trey Hendrickson? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Weigh in, let us know if you think they should get a deal done or not. Folks, we got a great deal we're offering right now. We got Nike Seahawks t-shirts on sale for just $15.99. Yes, you heard that right. It's not very often we use the words Nike and cheap, but here we are, folks. And you can be repping your favorite team. It's hot outside. You need more t-shirts. Why not get one of these? Chatsports.com/SeahawksT is where you can get these today. We have all sorts of different shapes and sizes available for your liking. We also have other Seahawks merchandise at that same link. Go see for yourself now at chatsports.com/SeahawksT to get yours today. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/SeahawksT to get yours now. Now let's take a moment and talk about the other players that were involved in this deal beyond the headliners of Jalen Ramsey here. Let's begin with Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, he would have potentially been nice to bring in. I would not have been opposed to that. I like what Seattle has in A.J. Barner and with Elijah Arroyo. I'm very high on Elijah Arroyo and think that he's got potential to be a star in this league, but I don't think it would have hurt to bring in Jonnu Smith if you're interested. But to me, all signs point to right now that they are looking to keep Noah Fant. If you were looking to trade Noah Fant, then maybe Jonnu Smith could have been a potential option here. And I know there's already some rumblings that Seattle could move on from Noah Fant and send him to Miami to replace Jonnu Smith, of all people. But I think momentum is showing based on how they've handled this, that we've gotten almost to the month of July, that Noah Fant is not going anywhere, but these things can change fast, but it seems to be that's the case right now. In regards to Minkah Fitzpatrick, there was never really interest in Minkah Fitzpatrick, and to be honest, I don't think people realized that he was on the trade market for the Pittsburgh Steelers, quite frankly. I think when you look at the safety room for Seattle here, that you have a Pro Bowler in Julian Love that's fantastic. You got Kobe Bryant coming off a breakout season last year, and then Nicky Manwari, I think, has got star potential. I think you're set and you're just fine. You didn't need to trade for a guy like Minkah. Jalen Ramsey, I know a lot of you were wanting Seattle to trade for Jalen Ramsey, and that was something that we discussed at length here on this channel over the last few weeks. But the reality is that his financials were a mess, okay? It would have been so expensive. And it's not just even about this year, but the long-term plans and such. It just didn't add up, even though Seattle has the money there to potentially make that happen. So now, as you look to better this roster, and as we get closer to training camp, you're wondering, okay, where can Seattle improve here? And I think the edge rusher position remains a question mark. You can never have too many pass rushers. The interior of the offensive line, still waiting to see who emerges at that right guard spot for Seattle. The defensive line, I like your starting three, but beyond that, you got some depth concerns. And then the wide receiver position. I don't think you're in a great spot when you're asking MVS to be your number 3 receiver right now. For me, I think it's real simple. Over the next few weeks for the Seattle Seahawks, the game plan of what they should do. Number one, they should trade for Trey Hendrickson. They should get a deal done, bring him in, and sign a contract extension and take this defense to a whole nother level, be one of the best in the league, build this team, lead this team based on their defense, and Trey Hendrickson can help take you to where you want to go. I would also sign an additional interior offensive lineman, whether that's a guy like Brendan Scherf or a Shaq Mason or a Dalton Reisner, something like that. I don't think it can hurt you one bit to bring a guy like that in to compete with Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes and at the very least be a quality backup. I think that would make a ton of sense for Seattle to feel a lot better about their offensive line situation. You do those things, then I think we're in business with the Seattle Seahawks team, that all of a sudden they're in some really good shape, putting their best foot forward heading into 2025. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. Let's win this like battle this month. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.